I'm somewhat surprised by what the ranking member just said about wind power driving down costs, when in Oregon we found that wind power is driving up costs. So I'd love to see the data that shows that had those units been added, suddenly ratepayers' power rates would have gone down. So if you would supply those, that would be great. So Mr. Feit, the caption of today's hearing is "The Profit Engine Driving in Environmental Nonprofits." The question is focused, or the hearing thus far has been focused on attorney fees and the offset that was originally intended to try to provide opportunity for, I guess, calling into question different activities by the federal government. I checked some time ago to see how much some of these environmental groups were worth that were filing these lawsuits, and it's astounding. Some of them have net worths in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you think that if someone has the financial wherewithal to afford one of these lawsuits, that we should be subsidizing that activity through this thing that was put together so many years ago?
That's a great question, sir, and it does raise the prospect of not being consistent with how these statutes were set up. EJA in particular was much more about the small business owner, the veteran, the homeowner who's affected by a project in their neighborhood, and for that reason, EJA does have asset limits for petitioning for a fee award, but those are not found in these other environmental fee-shifting statutes.
Has there been some link or some attempt to study how much the organizations that are receiving these monies are worth? And then, or is it simply that's ignored and we just look at whether or not they were successful in a portion of their lawsuit and then obtain the reimbursement?
It certainly doesn't really come up in court. Basically, it's just a threshold: are you eligible for a fee award or not? And certainly could be a fruitful area of inquiry, because there's a lot of information that should be available.
One of the things that this hearing raises is the different types of ways that these environmental organizations profit from litigation. And one of the biggest problems we're faced with right now is we try to figure out how in the world to speed up things that we're trying to get done here in the United States is the delay that's occasioned by these lawsuits. And we are basically funding delay. And the question is, what is the return to these environmental organizations because of the delay? Can you share with us some of the reasons that it plays into the environmental organizations' hands, delay?
Certainly, delay very much plays into an environmental plaintiff's hands, because to get a project through, you have to win 6 or 7 times. It's almost, if you go to a casino, the house only has to win once and wipe you out. And it's certainly, when you have a project, you lose momentum over time. You also have an instance, I've encountered this forest health project in Northern California. It gets delayed by litigation. They operate for 1 season, and then the whole thing burns up, and no more spotted owl habitat, because it's just carbon at that point.
Right, but it seems to me that I'm a lawyer, and I know how this game is played. And so I was a defense lawyer for many years. And the plaintiff knew that by utilizing different perverted means of discovery, for example, you can drag things out for literally years if you have a judge that is amenable to that type of thing. Hopefully you don't. But it seems to me that you make more money on the lawyer side of things if you can drag things out and bill more hours. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen cases where you have a hearing, it's quick, you brief it up, and you have kind of if you win or lose, you have a reasonable fee amount. But the Yuba River case I mentioned in my written testimony was one where I could see the plaintiffs. I don't know their motivations, but it would be consistent with really overworking a case, because at the end of the day, you're going to get compensated for
You're
it.
going to get paid. Thank you so much.